Hello, class of 2022. This is Mrs. Olsos from the Counseling Center. And as you guys have finished up your junior year and you're starting to look at your senior year and possibly some college planning, we wanted to get this information out to you so you could start thinking about what you're going to be doing in your senior year and start getting ready for those college applications. There are a lot of things you can do this summer, and this presentation is going to be there to help you through that. So a couple first things is I want to let you know of some great college planning resources that we have for all of you. The class of 2022 college planning website was sent out earlier this school year, and we're going to continue adding things to it all throughout your process of college applications, but it has a lot of great information on there. It has the college application book, which is cover to cover, probably about a 50-page book with everything you'd ever need to know about the college application process. We definitely don't expect you to go through it page by page, but it is a great resource for you if you need to look anything up. There is a lot of information on financial aid and scholarships. There's information on the SATs and ACTs, earning college credit in high school between AP and dual credit classes, the athletics in college, the NCAA and NAIA eligibility process, all that kind of good stuff. There's also Naviance, which is another great planning resource for you. We're going to go over that quite a bit in this video. And then obviously your WHS counselor is a great resource. We are here to help you, and we want you to know that anytime you have questions, just feel free to ask us. That's what we're here for. All right, so let's start with some things that you can do this summer to prepare for your college application process. So first thing we really need you to do is go into your Naviance account and update your email address. It's really important that we have a current email address to reach out to you, to contact you about things regarding college admission, scholarships, financial aid. If you are taking an ACP or an AP class, we need to have that information too, so that we can provide that to, for instance, ACP. They ask for your email address so they can contact you about the registration process. So please make sure that your email address is updated. Also, always a note, make sure that it is not your Google account. So not your ID at wws.k12. That is not an active email address. So use your Gmail, your Hotmail, your AOL, if you still got one, use your personal email address. If you're having problems getting into your Naviance account, let your counselor know and we can resend you a temporary password so you can get into that Naviance account. All right, so once you've gotten into your Naviance account, how you update your email address is by going to the About Me tab at the top. And then once you're in that About Me tab, you're going to go to Account, click on the Edit pencil, and then edit your email address. All right, so narrowing your college search. Naviance can really help you with that. There are a lot of colleges out there, and there's actually about 4,500 colleges out there to choose from, and students have a lot of options. Please know that when you're doing your college search, there's never just one perfect college for you out there. There are a lot of different colleges that could be a really good fit for you. And this is just one way of filtering that out and taking a look at colleges that might meet your particular needs. So if you go into your Naviance account and go into colleges, into the College Super Match, you can filter out through all those colleges, all those 4,500 colleges. It's going to allow you to filter by things like GPA and SAT scores, majors, activities, sports, you name it. So all across that top where it says choose fit criteria, you can click on that and pick specific criteria that meets your needs. The nice thing is too, is then you can designate whether it is a must-have in your college search or if it's just nice to have. And as you add items to your filters, it's going to start adding colleges that meet those needs. And then you can compare colleges side by side. You can pin them, you can favorite them, so you can kind of bookmark them and look at them later. So it is a great tool. And again, that is the College Super Match in Naviance. I would definitely recommend taking a look at that. All right, next, the next thing you can do in Naviance. So say you've already done your College Super Match and then you've picked a specific school. And here I've picked Ball State. You can find a ton of information in their dashboard about the college. So you can see I'm in the admission tab within Ball State's page in Naviance, and I can see how many students from Westfield have applied to Ball State, how many students were admitted. You can see acceptance rates, you can see the application fees and the deadlines. So a lot of great information just in the dashboard. Another good thing to look at is in admission on that same page that I was just on. If you scroll all the way down, it'll show you the classes that are required to be admitted. So how many years of English, how many years of math, science, social studies. This is for Purdue actually, so you can take a look at what they're requiring. And then it also shows years of recommended studies as well. So it's really important as you are applying to colleges that you have the criteria and the classes that they are requiring in order to be accepted. So if you're missing, for instance, world languages, you may not be able to be accepted to that university if that's a minimum requirement. So if you are missing some classes in your schedule for your senior year that your specific college needs, talk to your counselor and maybe you could add those in your senior year. All right, another great option you can look at is the scattergram. And the scattergram pulls all of the data from, gosh, at least the last 10 years of Westfield High School graduates. And it shows you how many students, again, applied and were accepted to colleges. And so you can see in this, it does a scattergram by GPA and then test scores. And you can compare yourself to other students who have been applying to these colleges in the past. So it's not going to be the end all be all. It's not going to tell you exactly whether or not you're going to be accepted, but it's going to give you a good ballpark range. So if you look at, let's flip through here. So if you look here, you are that little blue dot. And if you are amongst all of the green check marks of students who have been accepted, maybe you've got a really good shot. Maybe you're within that academic profile for that college and you're in good shape for admission. If you are down kind of amidst the red X's, those are students who have not been accepted to the school. If you're kind of down far below that, you may want to think about having another option as well. Maybe you're not fitting that admission profile for that particular college. So it gives you just a really good, relevant, real life idea of whether or not you might be accepted. And again, it's only looking at GPA and test scores. There are other things to be considered in the admission process, things like extracurricular activities and types of courses that you've been taking. These are just 2 data points to take a look at. All right, if you can this summer, get a chance to get on campuses, take a look and see what the campuses look like. Meet with college admission counselors. If you can meet with students, that's always a great idea. Campuses are really opening up now, I think. Last year was a really difficult time to visit campuses, but I think more and more are allowing students and parents back on campus to check things out. So it is a great way for you to see if it's going to be a good fit. Do you want a big campus where there's lots of activity, lots of students, maybe it's almost the size of a small town, or do you want a smaller campus where it's very walkable and there's a smaller number of students on campus? Visiting the campus, you're going to get a chance to see these things. And meeting with the admission counselors as well is going to give you a really good idea of their academic programs, their extracurricular activities, what kind of internships they might offer you, what kind of career planning they might have for you, and also to talk about the admission and scholarship process, and again, whether or not it's going to be a good fit for you. All right, the next thing that you can do over the summer. Students really should be working on their resume, and resume is going to be a document that shows all of your education, your significant activities all through high school, your leadership and your work experience. These are going to be things that you need to have ready and available for the college application process, as well as any scholarships that you might be applying for. And you don't have to use the career or the resume builder in Naviance, but it is a good starting point for students. You can also find templates in Google Docs, online, all sorts of things. Many of you may even have a resume started already, but it's important to update it. And again, your resume for high school should only include high school activities. It should not include your middle school activities. And again, it should include significant experiences. So say, for instance, you are working on your Eagle Scout. Absolutely add that. Or say you've been working part-time at Culver's, add that. Make sure that you have any kind of sports, activities, all of that listed neatly on there. You don't have to write a term paper for each of your activities, just a short description maybe to let them know what that's all about. But this summertime is a good time to do that. So next thing I want to talk about is adding your transcripts and requesting your transcripts to be sent to colleges in Naviance. So as you are applying to colleges, many of them will need a transcript in order to be able to admit you. Now, I will tell you this, that more and more colleges are simply asking for self-reported grades and even self-reported test scores in the college admission process. So not every school requires a transcript to be sent. Many of them do, most of them do, but not all of them. So what we ask you to do is we ask you to track every college that you are applying to in your Naviance account. And that's going to be within your colleges I'm applying to. So once you get into your Naviance account, once July hits, you can go into your colleges I'm applying to. You can add a college using that little red arrow button right there. And you're going to select your college, mark that you've submitted your application, and then add and request your transcript. And that is when we send, that is when we're going to send your transcripts to colleges. And again, your transcript, you've received those in the past. Those are the records that show you exactly all of your grades throughout high school and your total GPA on all of the classes you've taken. Again, this is in colleges I'm applying to. That will open up in July for the class of 2022. All right, so we'll go over more of this in the fall when we have our big meetings with you. We'll have a meeting with you guys right at the start of the school year, and we'll go over this a little bit more later. All right, so an important thing for students to know is that we are not going to send your transcripts to colleges until August 30th, okay? So if you have heard from colleges that you need to send a transcript now, you do not. College applications don't even open until August typically. And colleges cannot have an admission deadline earlier than October 15th. That is a national guideline from the National Association of Colleges of College Admission Counselors. So you will not need to have your transcripts sent in the summer. They will not be ready to be sent in the summer. They need to be gone over with a fine-tooth comb by your counselor. All of your summer school classes need to be added to it. And we want to make sure that they are perfect when they get sent out. So we will not send out transcripts until August 30th. So please know that. And again, we've been doing this for years. No one's ever missed a deadline because we haven't sent a transcript in the summertime. So it's important to know that. Relax, take a deep breath. Your earliest possible admission deadline is October 15th. And again, that is a National Association guideline for colleges. So when we do send them though, in the fall, there are a couple of things that you need to do in Naviance. Again, you're going to add those requests in Naviance, colleges I'm applying to. You've got to request the transcript, and then you've got to mark your application as submitted. Once those two things are marked in Naviance, that's when that transcript request will show up in our queue and we can send those transcripts. So if you request your transcripts but don't mark your application as submitted, it's not going to show up in our queue. Or if you've marked your application submitted but somehow haven't requested your transcripts, not going to be in our queue. It has to be both transcript requested, application submitted, and then we can send your transcript. Okay. All right. Something else you can be doing in the summertime. So if you need a letter of recommendation from a teacher or a counselor, and not all colleges require letters of recommendation, so please know that. Many of you, most of you won't need a letter of recommendation at all. But if your college requires letters of recommendation from either a counselor or a teacher, you're going to need to complete the letter of rec worksheet that's found in Naviance, and that's found in My Planner. And then it's under tasks assigned to me. It is a survey. And so the letter of recommendation worksheet, it's, I think, 10 questions that asks about you, obstacles you've overcome throughout high school, what you're most proud of, things that you've really worked hard on, what you're passionate about. So all of those things. And the more information that you put in the letter of rec worksheet, the better the letter of recommendation that we can provide for you. So we want to make sure that we touch upon all of the aspects about you and your education when we write a letter of recommendation. So that is something that you can complete this summer and then maybe even update it once we get back to school in the fall. So again, letter of rec worksheet in Naviance. For many of you, you might have already been working on your college admission essay, and maybe you did that in your junior English classes. But if you haven't done that, you can start a rough draft of your essay or personal statement and work on that throughout the summer. Maybe write it down, get a rough draft, and then put it away for a little while. Come back to it in August and then take a look at it again, reread it, proof it, re-edit it, change things up a little bit. But by and large, most students typically procrastinate on the essay. We hear it all the time. I've completed all of my application except I haven't done the essay yet. Get started on that. It can take some time and it can take some thought. You want to make sure that your essay speaks about you, talks about who you are, and shows them your voice. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be, again, like a term paper. It doesn't have to be 20 pages, just that it tells about you and who you are. So you can often get the essay prompts on your college application or for your college application on either the college admission website, or if you're using the Common Application, it's the same prompts from year to year for the most part. So you can access those prompts and maybe get started working on that. Maybe have a teacher look at it, maybe have a parent look at it or a counselor. Again, start writing it, get that rough draft, and then put it away for a while, come back, take a look at it. So a note about the Common Application, since we're talking about it here with the Common Application essay prompts. Common Application opens up August 1st. You can start that application now and then roll it over into the next school year once August 1st rolls around. So if you wanted to get working on that, you can. Please note that not all colleges accept the Common App. Many do, but not everybody uses the Common Application. Sometimes colleges use their own application on their own website. And so look to see the colleges that you're applying to, see if they accept the Common Application. If most of them do, or if they only use the Common Application, then use the Common App. But if you're applying to schools, for instance, like Ball State, University of Southern Indiana, Indiana State University, they do not accept the Common Application. Therefore, you do not want to start working on the Common Application because then you're just kind of wasting your time. All right. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about SATs and ACTs. So obviously it's been, again, a weird couple years with COVID and SATs and ACTs. Most of the test centers are now open again, and you should have no problem getting into an SAT or an ACT. A lot of you already took the ACT with the ACT school day. Many of you are taking the SAT in June. A lot of colleges are going test optional, and that means that if you have test scores and they reflect well on you, you can send them, or you can choose to not have them considered in the admission process. So even if you're test optional, even if you've sent your scores to a college already, if you do not want them to be considered in the application itself, you can say that you do not want your test scores to be considered. So it's something that maybe you talk to your counselor a little bit about. Do I want to send my test scores? Do I want to have them considered? Or do I want to go test optional? Not all colleges are test optional at this point. So you want to make sure, you want to look at the testing policies for each of your colleges that you're considering. And again, you're going to find all of that on the college's website. So make sure you're on the college's website in the admission tab, looking at their admission requirements and their test policies. So we do really think it's important that students take these tests, even if their colleges are test optional, because if you do well on those tests and they reflect well on you, you do want them to be considered. So sign up for an SAT or an ACT, try to take at least one if you can of each. There are the websites there, you can register for that. We will have an SAT in the fall. We will also have, students can also take the College Board SAT or ACT at other colleges, or gosh, you can take the SAT or ACT at other high schools, even if it's not located here at Westfield. There are many other schools in our area like Carmel, Noblesville, Hamilton, Southeastern, where you can take those tests and have your scores sent. Again, I mentioned it earlier in the video that some colleges are going where you self-report your test scores during the application process. Many still want them directly from the College Board or the ACT. So again, look at that test policy. If they are accepting self-reported scores, know that you will eventually have to send your scores to them officially. Same thing with transcripts. Anything self-reported in the long run still has to get sent in the end. So always make sure that you are being very honest and accurate as you're self-reporting those things. But we do recommend that you take these tests, so we do recommend that you send your test scores directly to the colleges through the testing agencies so that they are there in the college's database when you are applying. All right, a couple other things for students who are looking at athletics, NCAA and NAIA. If you are looking at Division I or II, NCAA or NAIA, you want to register with those websites. Go to the Eligibility Center, make sure you have your test scores sent, have your transcripts uploaded. We will upload your transcripts through the NAIA or NCAA portals, but you do have to register on those websites in order for us to be able to do that. All right, a couple of things that are coming up in the fall. We have a lot of events to help students plan, to help make sure that they are on the right track with their college admission process, to make sure you're not missing any deadlines, and just to help you out. So we are going to have coffee with senior parents. We weren't able to do that this year, but we want to bring that back next fall, where your parents can come in and learn about the college admission process and learn about what you will be doing in the college admission process. We also have the Shamrock College Rep Day. That is our traditional college fair, where we generally have about 60 to 70 colleges here in the gym, and you can meet with their admission counselors. Get to know your admission counselors from your school. They are typically the people who make the admission decisions for your applications. They are also great resources. So when you've got questions about the admission process for those specific schools or academic areas or scholarships, your admission counselors at those colleges are the best people to get to know. So take advantage of the college fair, meet your college reps there. We'll also have a lot of individual college visits. This year, they were all virtual. We're hoping again to have college admission counselors back here at Westfield during core time, so you can meet with them one-on-one and again, get a lot of those questions answered. Some other things that we'll be doing for you students. I mentioned this earlier. First week of school, we are going to have small group sessions with each of your counselors. So for instance, I'll have all of my students who are seniors in a meeting. Mr. Doherty will have all of his students, and etc. And we're going to meet with you to go over this application process again, and we're going to talk in more detail about it. Then we're also going to have core time application help sessions, very low key. You just come in and we'll answer your questions. We'll get you on the right track. If maybe it's just a question about an application, maybe it's a question on if you're sending your transcripts or requesting them properly, or how to sign up for an SAT or ACT. So just basic college application help we're going to have during core time each week in September and October for students to come to. We're going to have a common application workshop in October. The Common App is kind of a bear. It has a lot of detail in it. You think it's easy because, hey, you fill out one application and you send it to multiple colleges, but there's a lot to the Common App. So we are going to have a common application workshop in the fall that students can come to. Again, it's pretty low key. It's working time. So the counselors are there to help guide you and answer questions, but you're filling out your application, you're getting stuff done. And it's usually a really fun night. And then finally, every counselor is going to meet individually with each and every senior to help them with this process. So we're going to have meetings with you. We're going to go over your diploma tracks and all your classes, make sure you're on the right track for graduation. We're going to go over with you your future plans. Maybe that's college, maybe that's not, but we're going to have individual meetings throughout the month of September and also October with each and every one of our seniors. And then here's just a general timeline of what you can expect in your senior year. So if you look in that first block, August through December, that's typically the college application timeline for students. Most college deadlines are going to be that November 1st, November 15th, December 1st timeline. Not everybody. Again, the earliest it can be is October 15th. Some schools, though, have very flexible deadlines or rolling admission where you can apply April and May. But you're going to want to make sure that you know each and every college's deadlines and that you're meeting all of those. Next, that October through February block, that is when you're going to be filing your FAFSA. That's that free application for federal student aid. That is how you apply for financial need-based assistance. It's very important. That's that next block. March through April, you're going to be really reviewing your financial aid packages. You're going to be having all of your admission decisions already by then, hopefully, and making those decisions. May 1st, that is that National College Decision date. So the springtime is really a time where you're maybe making final visits, looking over all of your financial aid and scholarship packages, making that decision. And by May 1 of your senior year, you're going to be letting all the colleges know of your decision, whether you plan on enrolling or whether you're withdrawing your application and going elsewhere. So May 1's a big date. All year long, though, students should be looking in Naviance at scholarships. We have some scholarship applications that are due for you students like the first week of school. So make sure you're checking out Naviance, the scholarship list in the colleges tab all year long. I really recommend students kind of put a reminder in their phone every week or two to check out new scholarships in Naviance. Typically the heaviest time for scholarships is going to be like right after winter break, but really all year long we have scholarship applications and lots of different deadlines from August 1st through May 31st. So always check out that scholarship list. So that is kind of what to expect in your senior year. And hopefully this has helped answer some of your questions about what you can be doing this summer to get ready for your college application process. We are here to help in any way that we can, though. We are going to be with you throughout this whole process, and we want to make sure that you are good to go. So thanks so much and have a great summer, guys.